And our temperament series is coming to a wrap, and today it's all about the last child we have not looked at. That child that seems to set the standard for other children. You know, the child that other parents are always like, can't you see her? See the way she behaves? She obeys instructions. She does well in school. She is mature. Yes, we are talking about the child, the melancholy. This child is so endowed. When it comes to bookwork, school, they are naturally gifted. One of the easiest ways for you to know them is the fact that they have strength when it comes to spelling. I think it's because they are naturally attentive to details. That is why they are strong when it comes to spelling. Now, remember, I always say that every trait is either a strength or a weakness, depending on the event. Now, their attention to details would make them good spellers, can also be a weakness in other way. So today is all about the melancholic temperament. So if you have missed any of the series, you want to check back this channel and see, we've talked about how your temperament influences or impacts your parenting. We've talked about how you can get the best of your choleric child, the sanguine child, and the phlegmatic child. I'm very sure if you follow this temperament series, you are greatly empowered temperament-wise to understand the temperament of your child. Because the truth of the matter is, if you understand the temperament of your child, your parenting struggles are halfway sorted. So today is all about the child, the melancholy. So let's go into it. So welcome back. Enemy is my name, and in this channel we talk parenting. This is parenting with Enemy But you agree with me that it is a crazy time we are, and in this channel we get you empowered to be able to empower your child, to raise your child who will be able to navigate the times we are and the times they are going to inherit successfully. Now, if you are new here, I assure you that you are in a very good place. We have amazing parenting resources you want to explore. So I say welcome to you. If you're an old subscriber, I greatly appreciate you. You inspire me to keep doing this. It means I'm giving value. That is why you are coming back, and I say thank you a big deal. So what you want to do is to subscribe. If you have not subscribed, you want to like, you want to drop a comment, you always have questions. Yes, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I assure you that I am always going to take your questions. And lastly, what I want you to do is to share. Yes, you need to share these video links, put them on your statuses, on your stories, share in the communities you belong, your children's school. Yes, share in your church communities, in your alumni communities, share everywhere so that every parent will get empowered, and we are going to raise a generation of children who will be sane. Let's start with the traits of this child. One of the very popular traits about them is that they have the tendency to be perfectionists. If you're a classroom teacher, you'll be familiar with that child who comes forward 10, 20 times to get a razor from you because they're not writing the way the handwriting is written on the board. You'll be familiar with that child who stands up to answer a question and doesn't get it right. He or she is carrying a long face, while another child of the sanguine temperament perhaps will just smile or giggle and sit down. The melancholic child will carry the long face, and you have to sometimes pep talk them and let them know that, okay, there are other opportunities for you to attempt to answer questions. Yes, they tend to be perfectionists. They just want things to be right by them. They want things to be right. They are those children that they don't like to be criticized. They don't like to be judged because they just feel that they have a standard for things and they want to meet that standard. Now, as a classroom teacher, you have your standard. You are going to see that that child that is likely going to meet that standard. The child is not going to be quiet in the classroom because you like to talk, like the phlegmatic child who is not a talkative. The melancholic child can be a talkative, but they always want to obey instructions. So the melancholic child is a typical child in a classroom that will not make noise because you have said don't make noise. and not necessarily because they don't like to talk. One other major trait of the melancholic child is that they are very sensitive, especially to environmental factors. You often see them arguing with their siblings and friends about the brightness of light, the noisiness of an environment. You always see them arguing about the volume of the radio or the MP3 player. Now, their sensitivity doesn't just stop at environmental factors. They also seem to be aware of people's feelings. So it's not uncommon for you to hear them say something like, this person doesn't like me, or I didn't do it because they were not happy about it. And you are wondering, I asked you to do it and you are saying I wasn't happy about it. How did you know I wasn't happy about it? Because they tend to understand, pay attention to people's feelings. And I want to actually attribute that to maybe their attentiveness to details is why they tend to be able to read people's feelings compared to people of other temperaments. So one other trait of the melancholic child is that they are not readily adaptable. They don't easily warm up. They don't easily warm up. Now, this is because this child can trust. They can trust. They are not risk takers. So whenever they are comfortable in a particular place, in a particular situation, and by place and situation, it can be they are comfortable in their space, physical space. It can be relationship, talk about friendship. They are comfortable with one person. They do not want to easily try something new. Not because they are so comfortable in their comfort zone, like the phlegmatic child who doesn't want to take risks because they just enjoy their comfort. They don't know what the other thing you want them to try holds out for them. The melancholic is because they don't readily trust. No, I know this place I am. I know this person that is my friend. I don't know this one. So it's not easy for them to trust. So you can see a melancholic child who has one friend for a very long time. They'll have one friend. So they are not one that easily move. I want to switch. I want to move. They are not very experimental. They just love what they are used to. Now, this takes me to the next major trait they have, which is routine. Another trait they have is that they thrive on routine, structure, predictability. They want to know exactly. Now, this is why one of the finest ways parents can parent this child is to have a routine, a structure, be predictable. Your child, they when they know what is expected of them, they will learn to act according to that. The melancholic child is not the one that loves surprises. No. So you just bringing up surprises here and there will always destabilize them. Will always disorganize them. So when you have your plan, your structure, they are aware of it. It's easy for them to actually flow, to actually be compliant. So another trait about them is that the melancholic child is a child that thrives on routine, on predictability, on structure. Another thing about this child is that this child is emotionally intense, especially when it comes to negative emotions. They can get hurt over something that you may think is not significant, and they tend to internalize hurts, take it for a very long time. Now, this is why of all the temperaments, they are the ones that are likely going to suffer depression, because they get hurt easily, and these hurts, they take it a very long time. The last trait I will share about them is that they are not as high in energy as the sanguine and the choleric. However, they are higher in energy than the phlegmatic. So because of their not so high activity level, they are also imaginative and creative. However, they actually want to exhibit their creativity and imagination in subjects like music, that's singing, drawing. They also would love to read if you nurture it in them early, because they are not like the sanguine who would want to jump and be everywhere. No, The melancholic are more a bit subtle in their energy level. Now, these are the traits I want to share with you today. If you want more about the melancholic child, grab my book, Understanding Your Child. It will empower you. You will know everything you need to understand about your child's temperament, how to motivate them, how to discipline them, their love language, their learning style, every single thing you need to know to understand your child. They are all captured in that book. It's a parenting guide, you know. I didn't talk about the fact that these children are so thoughtful and mature. Now, yes, they are very thoughtful, they are very mature, they have self-discipline, a great deal more than children of other temperaments. Despite all those things, they still clash with their parents, or their parents still see their behaviors as misbehaviors, or the children still misbehave. So let's look at why these seemingly perfect children still misbehave. One of the reasons why parents clash with their melancholic children is that they tend to be oppositional. Now, they are not oppositional. They are not like the choleric child that wants things to be done their way. No. The melancholic child only needs clarification. They need explanations. They need to understand why. And parents don't get this. They see them as being interrogative, as being questioning, and parents are not. They are not having it. Your melancholic child is not daring your authority. They just want to understand why. Now, remember I said structure is their thing. Imagine a child who is already used to a particular pattern. They are used to a particular way of life, things you've taught them over the years to do. And suddenly you come from nowhere and you say they should do a different thing. The child is going to be hesitant. Not because the child wants to dare your authority, but because they want to understand. They need a clear explanation. So they always ask questions. Oh, the melancholic child asks questions a great deal. They want to know why. Why? It's not because they want to annoy you. They genuinely want to know why. Your choleric child may want to know why because they want to just upset you. But the melancholic child genuinely wants to know why. So one of the things you want to do is, for every time you are given an instruction, they need to understand why. Now, this is why modeling is very important. When you talk about children picking up from their parents, the melancholic child takes the top. They learn from you. So whatever you want them to do, however you want them to act, as you are teaching them verbally, back it up by also doing that same thing. They are not oppositional. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to stress you. They just want to understand why. If you can offer them the why behind the do this or do that, it is easy for them to comply. Another thing about them is because they are emotionally intense, they tend to be not so forgiving, because it takes them a while, a long time to even get over hurt. Someone has offended them, it takes them a long while to get over it. So before they begin to talk about forgiveness. Now, this gets parents angry. Even when parents try to call them to make up and all of that, you see them carrying that long face, because it's not deliberately because they want to upset you, but because it takes them a while to forgive. It takes them a while because they hurt for a long time. So they have to, their pain they are feeling have to run out its timeline before they can start thinking about forgiveness. So parents also, I get this a lot, parents also get angry when the child tends to be angry or not open up, not talk to them, or not welcome them for a while. It is always because your child takes a while to understand their pain and get over their pain before they move on. So most times it's not to hurt you, it's just about them. Another thing that makes parents and the melancholic child clash is because they are not adaptable. They don't easily warm up. So you just come and you change your routine. Nah, they are not fitting in. They will struggle. They are not happy about it because you just suddenly change the routine. Remember I said they are structured people. They thrive on routine. So from one day to another, you just change the routine. You expect them to just flow. It's not easy for them to flow. So they struggle to flow. And so parents also do not like this. It also happens when you see the parents, they take their children out, just like the phlegmatic child. You take your child out and every child is playing, happy, jumping about and doing all of that. The melancholic child is not doing that, and parents often get frustrated. Like, see your mates are playing, go and play, go and have fun. You know, it gets parents frustrated, especially because these children are they dominate at home. They dominate at home. At home, their mouths are like, parents would say, sharp like razor blade. But when they get outside, they are not readily like that. Now, the reason why they're not readily like that outside is, at home, they've built trust. They understand their home, understand the parents, understand the siblings. So they've built trust. They can be vulnerable at home because they've built trust. But outside, they have not built trust. So I hear parents say a great deal that when you get to school, you don't talk. When you get outside, you don't talk. But at home like this, nobody can match you. Nobody can fit. Nobody can beat you. It is because they trust the house. They've built trust at home. They can be vulnerable. They can be themselves at home. But when it comes outside, it's a different ball game. Now, this is why. Another reason parents and these children clash is because these children seem not to like criticism. Ordinary correction, correct them and they are frowning. The parents will say they are closing their eyes, they are grumbling. Now, this is one of the reasons also parent and the child clashes. The parents expect, okay, you are not doing something well, I'm telling you the right thing to do, you are frowning. It's who they are. And I want to believe it's because they have this perfectionist tendency and they are kind of very proper. They always believe that they are putting in their best at what they do. So when parents come in to just criticize, especially when you do it bluntly, it's really hurting to them. So as a parent, what you want to do, yes, you correct your child because your child doesn't know everything. So what you want to do, you want to empathize with them before you actually correct them. That way it's easy for them to take your correction. Now, one major thing parents need to know is that your melancholic child is likely going to suffer low self-esteem, and I will tell you why. Remember, they are perfectionists. They always want things to be perfect, and as it is human nature for things not to be perfect. Now, because things are not perfect and they want things to be perfect, they are always going to feel, oh, they are not doing enough. They are not doing enough. They set certain standards for themselves. And if they are not able to meet the certain standard, they are always going to feel bad about themselves. So one of the things you can do as a parent is begin to teach them that mistakes are a part of human beings, and begin to teach them that perfection is only an illusion. In fact, for your melancholic child, you actually want to remove the tendency to push them into further perfection. You want to completely remove it so that they can have a fine balance, because they're going to make mistakes as human beings. So the more you criticize them, make them feel bad, rub their mistakes on their faces, the more they are going to fall back into low self-esteem. They're going to fall back into low self-esteem. So you want to focus. If you have a melancholic child, you want to channel all your energy into boosting their self-esteem. Another thing you need to understand about your melancholic child is that they thrive on structure, routine, rules, and regulations. So you want to sit your child down and set those rules, regulations, create your structure. You want to deliberately create your structure, and you see your child thrive. Create the structure, empower them to be able to follow the structure, and you will see your child thrive. The last thing I want to tell you about your melancholic child is that you deliberately teach them to take a no. Yes, take a no. They will not always get everything they want, because like I said, they are perfectionists. If things don't go the way they want, they will break down. They will not be happy. So you want to start from small, teaching them that things will not always go the way they want, because life is wired in such a way that things will not always go the way you want. They will not always have friends. People will not always want to be their friends, even though they want to be those people's friends. They may not always have the finest of things. They may not always have the best of things. Teach them all of that. That life has a lot of no's to give. Life is not is not scripted, will not just follow the pattern they have designed. So teach them that. Teach them to take a no. Teach them to make mistakes, to accept their mistakes. Teach them to accept standards that are not up to their standards. This way, you are empowering them with resilience. They are persevering people, but resilience is not readily there because they don't easily bounce back from disappointment or negativity. So you want to teach them a lot about life. Life throws a lot of lemons. People, we are in the era of social media. We have a lot of bullying, hate speech, and all of that. You want to prepare them, teach them, use whatever means you have to teach them, because these people are very good people. They are very nice children that are going to responsible adults. However, if life burdens them too much, they may break. There's a lot to actually talk about the melancholic child. There's a lot to talk about all other children. So you actually want to get my book, Understanding Your Child. Get it. It's very helpful. It is very helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Enimi Orebo. If you enjoyed my video, please do well to share and invite your friends, families, and everyone, even your enemies, to this community. Let's learn and grow together. Bye for now.